What's up traders, Sasha Gogolin, Second Skies Trading, and another week has passed, which means we are back with another top trade review video where we once a week review top trades taken by our advanced price action members. And in this week we're going to look at a trade by our member AUDJPY, and it's not only one trade, it's actually 3 trades in a row. And he did not only take long trades but also a short trade. So he attacked the Australian dollar, Japanese yen here in both directions in sequence, which is really cool, and he did a really good job here. So we'll dive into the details shortly here. So in this video we're going to look at the price action context leading up to these trades that Jackie took here, and we're also going to look at the entry, the stop loss, and the take profit on all 3 trades. And towards the end of the video we will look at potential improvements that we think he could have made to his trades here. But before we do, if you do like our content, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so you get notified immediately when we release new content. And on the screen here you can see his trade details here. So this first trade was a long trade. His entry price was a 75,193, his stop loss at 74,747, and take profit 76,293 for a total return of 2.5R, meaning he made a total return on the first trade of 2.5 times his initial risk. The second trade, that was actually a short trade, and his entry price was 76,646, stop loss at 77,128, and take profit at 75,546, and the return on that trade was 2.2R. And the third trade, again a long trade, entry price 75,143, stop loss 74,708, and take profit 76,248, and again a nice return of 2.5R on that trade. Total holding time on the first trade 1 day, holding time on the second trade 1 day 16 hours, and the holding time on the third trade, which was a little bit longer, 12 days including the weekends. So in total on these 3 trades he made a return of 7.2R, meaning he made 7.2 times his initial risk. So $1,000 risked on these trades together combined would have yielded a return of $7,200. So really well played here by AUDJPY. And looking at the chart here that Jackie attached to his post inside our community, you can see the entry here on his first trade, you can see the stop loss and the take profit of the first trade. Then you can see where he went short, his entry, again his stop loss, the little red line, and his take profit, and then he immediately, almost immediately went long again, and there again his entry, his stop loss, and his take profit. So now that we have covered the trade details of the 3 trades here, let's dive into TradingView, our favorite charting platform, and have a look at the price action context. And here we are on TradingView, which in my opinion is one of the best charting platforms out there. And if you would like to learn how to use this free charting platform, you can check out our 30-minute tutorial on TradingView by clicking on the link in the top right corner. And as you can see, I have 4 time frames here, which is the weekly time frame, the daily time frame, the 4-hour time frame, and 1-hour time frame, which helps me to analyze the entire context of a given instrument from the long-term to the short-term price action. And as you can see here, I have already marked all the 3 trades taken by Jackie here. So you can see the bullish trade here, the second bearish short here, and the third bullish trade here as well. And to understand why Jackie took these trades in the first place, we need to have a look at the midterm price action of this pair, and for that we can use the daily chart. And we can see the strong sell-off here in March that then ran into counter trend order flow at around 62, which reversed the trend from a bearish to a bullish trend all the way back up here to 76.50, where then sellers came back in and pushed price lower. But there was no follow through by the bears at this point. So bearish trend really never manifested. Instead, price stalled at this daily dynamic support, which is the daily 20 exponential moving average. You can see on my charts here, which is the yellow line. And price was never really able to close below it here, just 2 times. But then you can see how the EMA here started carrying price, indicating that the bulls still were in control of this midterm trend here. So Jackie saw this and he was bullish on the midterm price action on this pair. And being bullish, he was looking for long setups. And this is when he went down to the 4-hour time frame and he spotted a different setup here, which is a pre-breakout setup. And I can quickly mark it here on the chart. You can clearly see this resistance here at around 75 to 75.15. You can see how it rejected price multiple times here, but then price action just kept building here, more and more and more. And then at the end here, there was also a nice 20 EMA carry here towards the end. And if you would like to learn how to both identify and trade these pre-breakout setups, we have a separate video on this that you can access by clicking on the link in the top right corner. And Jackie saw this setup and said, hey, if price breaks out above this resistance, I want to get long, I want to attack this. And you can see here the first bar closed within the zone, but the second bar closed above and broke above this zone. This is when Jackie went long, he placed his long order, and he put his stop loss below the lows here, leading up to the final attack on the resistance, and he had his take profit close to the highs over to the left here on the 7th of June for a nice return of 2.5 times his risk. Now this is when things get interesting, and we need to look at a little bit more context here to understand why Jackie chose to go short here. So looking at the weekly time frame, zooming in a little here, you can see that there is a long-term key resistance dating back to the middle of 2019 here. So you can see multiple rejections here that led to strong sell-offs in the past, which also was the one that led to this strong rejection here on the 8th of June. And so Jackie said, okay, I've now taken a long trade, I've traded into this resistance, but now I would like to go short. So what he did basically, going back to the daily chart here, you can see that he placed his entry here. He went short at the absolute highs of this zone here, and he put his stop loss right above here, all these highs, with a little bit extra buffer here. And you can see that price also was extended a little bit from the 20 EMA. So he said, hey, there is actually a larger pre-breakout structure potentially forming on this pair. So he said, if this pre-breakout structure, if price isn't breaking out just yet, that means I can actually trade this long-term resistance back towards the EMA. And that's exactly what he did here. And we can zoom in, you can see his trade clearly here. He has this entry at these highs over here, a good stop loss with a solid amount of buffer. And looking again back on the 4-hour chart, he took his profit here, which is basically at this area over here. You can clearly see why he took profit here if I mark it. This area acted as resistance before and could now potentially act as support. So he went for one of the highest probability targets on his short here because he was trading counter trend. And we teach our members that if you trade counter trend, make sure to go for a shorter target. Don't target too much, because eventually the order flow of the higher time frame trend will come back and price will resume the original higher time frame direction. So really well played here by Jackie. And after taking profit on this trade, price sold off even more and came back to the same resistance here of this previous pre-breakout structure that you can see here. And Jackie said, hey, I can trade this one again because the overall context has not changed. This pre-breakout structure is still in play. The EMA is catching up. Price has not been able to close below the EMA for multiple weeks in a row. It's coming back to this pre-breakout resistance, now acting as support. And this is when Jackie went long again, stop loss in roughly the same area as the first trade, and target again at the same area in the first trade here. So all in all, really well done here, reading the price action in real time, trading in multiple directions, taking advantage of the overall context here. So fantastic job here by Jackie FX, not being married to one direction. He saw the trades in real time. He attacked them when there was an opportunity. He wasn't afraid, and he just kept on attacking this pair at the right locations with the right timing and the right read on the price action context here. So overall, very, very well done here by Jackie. Really impressive trading here, in my opinion. Now, in terms of improvement suggestions for these trades, looking at the first trade here, we can see that Jackie went in right at market after the first bar here, kind of closed above the pre-breakout level, the resistance. Really nicely done on that one. And the stop loss, you have multiple options here. You can go right below the zone, which is the most aggressive one. You can go below these lows here prior to the attack, the final attack on the resistance. And then you can have the third, which is the most conservative options, which is you can go below these lows over here. But Jackie went for the middle option here, which I think is a good choice. And his target also very well chosen here, which is the long-term resistance here. So all in all, really well played. I think he could have tightened his stop a little bit if it was these lows he went below. Otherwise, he could have gone below these lows with the buffer below. But in terms of buffer, I think he could have shaved a little bit off his stop loss here, just a little bit. In terms of this trade, this short trade here, since he's trading the top of a long-term resistance, price often tends to overshoot these areas a little bit. And on top of that, it's a counter trend trade. So in terms of those stop losses, I personally also like to have a little bit more buffer, be a little bit more forgiving on those trades, because you're trading against the higher time frame order flow, and you don't know how much price will overshoot the resistance or the support you are attacking. So in terms of stop loss, really well placed here in my opinion. I wouldn't cut too much off this stop loss, so that one is well chosen in my opinion. And being more forgiving on counter trend trades often is a very good thing to do. And in terms of entry, I mean, it's at the top of the resistance, even a little bit above. So again, very well chosen here. In terms of his target on his counter trend trade, if Jackie really thought that price was going back here to the EMA, he could have gone for a deeper take profit on this one, simply because there was more room to trade into. And looking at this, where he got in the last time, I mean, a revisit of these pre-breakout structures, this smaller pre-breakout structure here is very common. So he could take in a little bit more profit on his counter trend trade, in my opinion, without risking too much. As you can see here on the daily chart, there was enough room to the EMA. So if this overall larger pre-breakout structure still was intact, a return to the 20 EMA was very likely if this resistance would hold, which it did, and price returned to the EMA. So a little bit larger target here on his counter trend trade. In terms of his with trend trade here, the second one, again, same trade, very similar to the first one. I like his entry, I like his stop loss, and again, take profit at the long-term resistance, so well played. Since he's attacking the same area he attacked the first time on his first trade, I would suggest having consistency, use roughly the same entry location and the same stop loss location. In this case, he went a little bit deeper, which I understand. He ended at market here. Here he ended on the pullback to the level, so he went for the zone instead of this little bit higher entry. So the entry also spot on here, in my opinion. Stop loss again, could have taken a little bit off the stop loss here. But since it's a pullback, I think it was well chosen stop loss, because the pullback, again, it can overshoot a little, it can go a little bit deeper because you do not really know how far and how deep it will go. But if this previous resistance that now is acting as support should hold, it shouldn't go too deep here. And take profit again, similar to the first one. I would say aim for consistency and target the same area again. And you can see here also the rejections coming in here. So targeting a little bit more here on the second trade. Now with these small adjustments here, the first trade would have improved from 2.5 to 2.86 by tightening the stop loss a little. Going for a little bit larger target on the second trade would have increased it to 3R, and the third trade here would have also gone up to 2.62R. So in total, that would have made an improvement of 1.1R. The first initial one, the combination of all three trades, was 7.2R, and with these minor improvements here, the overall return would be 8.3R, so an improvement of 1.1R. It doesn't sound a lot maybe, but over a series of 100, 200, 300 trades, this adds up really, really quickly. But these are just some minor thoughts on my end and some minor improvement suggestions. But other than that, I think Jackie did a fantastic job here. A+ across the board for not being married to one direction only, being able to attack counter trend if there is the opportunity, having the right timing, being very picky, not trading counter trend anywhere, but really waiting for the best location and then again go with the trend. So overall, fantastic read on the price action across the board. Really well done here. And this sums up this week's top trade review. We hope you liked the video. Let us know in the comment section below if you have any questions or comments. Did you take any of these trades yourself? How did you trade the Aussie Japanese yen? Did you go long? Did you go short? What did you think of Jackie's trades here? We will be happy to know your thoughts, so make sure to share them below. Also, if you like the video and like our content, make sure to hit the like button, support the work we do so we can keep on growing and create free material like this for you every week. Also, subscribe to our channel to get notified immediately every time we release new content. And if you would like to get access to tons of free trading material, free articles, trading tools, free ebooks on price action, make sure to check out our website at secondskiesforex.com. Other than that, we hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next week for another video and another top trade review from one of our members. Until then, be well, stay green, stay positive, and good luck trading.